I'm Bruce Harris with Windermere Real Estate. It is the 3rd of January, 2020. We're going to take a look at this week in Seattle real estate. We track on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. We look at all the properties that are coming on market that are single family between South Graham and 145th and North. And let's take a look at our stats tracker. This is our daily grouping. The colors over on the left indicate the different amounts of numbers that are coming on market. Anything that's bright red are a high number. Anything that's bright blue, that indicates a holiday-affected low set of numbers. The purple or pink, depending upon what your computer shows, those are your lowest numbers for the year. And again, the white is the absolute highest numbers. So let's go over and take a look at what happened throughout the year, first of all, and then we'll take a look at what has historically happened each month for the first few months of each year for the last few years. And that'll give us an idea of what we will probably see coming at us. Most listings that hit the market in a given week was about the 3rd week of May, 251 of them. That's a pretty high number. Let's go ahead and pop down to there. And here it is right here, 251. That's an interesting spike that took place that really jumped the market. And that's, again, the 2nd and 3rd week of May where that took place. We're going to see some correlating numbers in pendings and pending inspections in just a second. And as is typical for a holiday such as we've just experienced, our lowest number of listings came on just a few days ago, right around Christmas Day, at 13 listings on that particular day. The most pending inspections, those properties going into a pending inspection contingency status, took place in the latter part of July, interestingly. Post-July drop, we had a real drop down. Look at this one in terms of listings coming on market. But the actual pending inspection high for the year was right there at the latter part of July for that week at 98. And again, our lowest numbers for pending were actually back in March. Lease pending inspections, 5 of them. The most pendings were also in March, 39316. 157. Let's go ahead and pop down there and take a look at that. There they are. And this is just right back when we started putting this particular graph together. There it is at 157. And we'll scroll up here with a highlighter on that particular column showing the amount of pendings. And sure enough, that's going right up there. That was a pretty high number at 157. A bit of a surprise, I think, for a number of people. Let's go ahead and hop over here again and take a look at least amount of pendings. Just happened at 20. The most 6 days or less. Now, this is an important number. We watch this very carefully. Those properties that go off market in 6 days or less, the highest number were back in April 16. Let's go pop down there and take a look at what that set looked like. There it is, this little spot right here. 7 days, 6 days, 7 day, a weekly, within the week of those properties that went off 6 days or less. Here is a spike that took place at that point, early April. And as expected, the least amount were right here at the holiday, just behind us. The most 6-day off markets to newly actives, in other words, a relationship between those that go off market in 6 days or less within a week versus how many came on market within a week, also was back in March. And the least amount was in August at 9%. So that's quite a differential there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at what we're going to see in the next few months. And what I've done here is I've dropped in 2015 through 2019 in each one of these sets of graphs. And I'm taking a look at how many came on, first of all, in each one of the weeks. So here's what January looked like in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Reds, again, are the highest numbers. Blues are the lowest numbers. So week number 1, 57, 73, 69, 52, and then 99, almost 100. This almost doubled. This not quite doubled. This not quite doubled. That not quite doubled. And this definitely didn't double. 3rd week then, 112, 99. So you can see how they start ramping up, but not a massive number there. Now let's go over and take a look at the new actives for each month for those years. And we'll see then, if you're a buyer, you're going to want to know what the inventory looked like during those first 4 months. And the same thing if you're a seller, you're going to want to figure out when you want to place yourself in the marketplace if you have the luxury of doing that. 2015 had the lowest amount for the first month, and 2019 had the highest number, almost 150, 140 above what we saw back in 2015. So 359, 404, 400, 374, and then 500. February jumps up to, call it 450. I'm going to round these now, 450, mid 425s, 430, 425, and then 475. And again, I'm rounding. March, 650, 650, 600, 650, 700. April, 750, 650, call it 600 for fun, 600 for fun, and then cresting 800. You can see the differential that took place in 2019. I'd initially start thinking that we did not have as much of an inventory, or excuse me, a pending to sale, or pending to new active differential, but the numbers actually proved differently for 2019. That'll be interesting to see in a second. Let's head back over here. In terms of then those new pendings that went to pending during that status, we just looked at the actives. Let's keep this over here to the right for a minute. We looked at the actives that came on market. So we had these 360, 450, 640, 760. But now, during the pendings that went pending during that time frame, for week number 1 was 44, week number 2 was 89, week number 3, 101, and week number 4 at 115. I probably should be comparing that more over to here. So if we look at 57 to 44, 111 to 89, 112 to 101, there's your ratio between new listings and new pendings. And you can see right here, this 115 versus 77, that caused the market to really escalate into multiple offer situations. Just saw the opposite right here in 2016, where the pendings are less than half, around half on that one, 99 to 84. Then they're starting to catch up, 107 to 105. There they are, almost balancing out at a zero, or par, I guess I'll call it. 2017, different set of numbers, 101 to 74, 86 to 113, 125 to 112, getting close to par on that. By the way, I'm putting these numbers up here. This might not matter to you so much, but I'm taking a look even at which day of the week did that particular week start, and that actually affects the volume of listings that would have come on during that week. Finally, 2019 just crushed everything for the most part. 99 and 70, 121 and 117. That's almost par right into the second week. Par meaning that as many were going off market, almost as much as were coming on market. That's pretty substantial. 120, 96, there we go, where we see the amount of pending start to drop back down again, but came back up to 114, 139. So that's still a seller's market at that point, but not quite as incendiary as we've been seeing. We go over and then take a look at what happened through the years for those new pendings. Here we go. We've got 2015, interestingly, having the highest amount of new pendings for March and April, close to 600, and then at 650, we'll call it, if I round up. Quite a differential between that and what we saw in 2016. Same for 2017. 2019, almost catching up with 2015. So here is our volume of new listings coming on market, January, February, March, April. And you can see the differential here, 500 versus 835, 375 versus 618, 400 versus 584, call it 400 versus 650, 640, 359 to 760. Now, in terms of those that are going off market at that same time, 346 versus 651, 287 to 536, 353 to 528, ramping up there, 286 to 516, and then 400, call it, to 600. There's your differential there. Now, what about the hot markets? When did we see that take place? And what did it look like? Here are our 6-day pendings. I'm going to compare these actually to new pendings as well. In the new pendings here for 2015, 44 went off market, but only 8 were 6 days. 89 versus 35, 101 versus 25, we'll call it, 115 versus 30 or 35. Here's 30 versus 10, 1/3. 67 versus 20, similar. 84 to 28, not dissimilar. And 105 to 35, so about a third. 2017, 42 and 13, 75 and 30, I'll call it. 113 to 28. There we're starting to see a differential that's expanding. And 112 to 41, we're starting to catch up again. Same thing for 2018, 30. Now there's quite a differential here, 33 to 6, 62 to 18. Now we're almost at half, the 40 versus 87, but we drop back down to a third, 96. And I think we saw that in a couple of the different things. That third week tended to be more influential. Finally, 2019 started on a Tuesday, and that was a healthy week then because we had listings coming on starting Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is a lot less negatively affected than a week that starts on a Friday. If you start a brand new week on a Friday, typically people are going to wait until Monday to bring that on, and thus the numbers will be lower. So this Tuesday start of that week helped influence the higher numbers here. But look at the differential here: 70 versus 33, 42, 30, and 40. 117, almost twice as much as we saw in 2018 and 2016. 96. Interesting again how the third week drops back down again and then catches back up again in 114. And that 114 is not so different than a few of those years. Now, 6-day pendings versus those. Let's go do this again. 20 versus 70. So a full third, I'll call it. My math was terrible there. 36 versus 117. 30 versus 96, there's a third, and 37 versus 114. So basically right around a third of the market was going off. A third of the amount of properties that were going pending in 6 days or less. And that continues then to add to a continuing seller-friendly marketplace. But again, not as incendiary as we are seeing in other parts of the market. So let's go back over for a second and take specifically a look at the weekly 6-day to newly active relationship here. We recently added this column, so we haven't actually done the numbers on it. But when I start seeing numbers that are cresting 40%, that's pretty brutal for a buyer and very strong for a seller. Here's our post. What holiday was that? Forgive me. Here's our lowest point there. But man, look at this, almost 50%. Let's see if we actually get into the 50 percentile. There we go, 63, 66, 72%. Now this was a classic rebound on July 4th, and that's why that happened. But that was a quick surge. Let's see if we've got any other moments where that really jumps up. Here we're back into the 40s. Here we're into the 68%, and that's back there. We saw a couple numbers up above that were in the area, March. And here they are at doing that. Now let's go back and take a look if that was standard for each one of the year, and then I'll cut you loose. And this is the conversation I will be having with a number of our clients in the next week or so. And I am taking a look for those 6-day pendings and what they did in the different weeks there. And look at the new pendings over here. March, there it is, 599 and 651, 641 versus 760, 547 to 287. Yeah, we did this once before, so forgive me, we've already done that. All right, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but that is it. That's how I look at the year. We've already got a bit of in terms of our new actives coming on market right here, this 12, that was yesterday. And that's showing me that people are already getting ready to hop on market. Our lowest moment was right here, but we had a crest at 24, So we're already starting to see the rebound in terms of the volume of market of listings coming back on market. But as this kind of followed through, the 337 is the lowest set of numbers for the year. Same thing then for pending inspections, total 13 and at 42. Same thing for pendings. Same thing for the 6 days. Same thing for the totals of pendings and pending inspection. And then our weekly pending and pending inspection relationship to actives is 146. That's the lowest number we've seen. 11% versus these really hot numbers in the 30s. This was that 30 percentile we were seeing in terms of the relationship of pendings to actives, and finally 17% here. So that's our numbers. Look forward to seeing you in the new year, and hope that's of help to you. Take care. Bruce Ferris, Windermere Real Estate. Give a call if you need to talk. Bye-bye. And of course, we hope you have a great 2020.